In May of 2000, a woman named Sandra Kay Baker was living in Mercer County. She was originally a Florida native who had actually moved to Mercer County to be with her fiance, whose name was William Creagh Jr. I was working as a reporter for the Sharon Herald in 2000 when Sandy went missing. The person who claimed to have last seen and had contact with her was her fiance. He told police that on the morning of May 25, 2000, he received a phone call from her. She told him that she was outside of a Sheetz convenience store along Route 18 and Transfer in Mercer County, and that she had made a call to him telling him that she felt like she was in danger and that she might not see him for a couple of days and she would be in touch. Time passed. Sandy never turned up. The police became involved with the investigation, and it became clear very quickly that something was really wrong and that she was probably not coming back. As the investigation went on, the police began to focus on her fiance, William Creagh. He had what would be considered a checkered history with domestic violence in Ohio prior to meeting Sandy. Eventually, police named him as the suspect in the case, and they really started to focus on him. The case ended up moving towards Beaver County because William Creagh had gotten involved with a private investigator who was working out of Ambridge named Cliff Ailey. The police came to learn that Creagh had actually had Ailey following Sandy. It was never really made public why he may have been doing that. The investigation started to turn to Cliff Ailey and his involvement. And that's really when detectives down here became involved.
During the 90s particularly, we received several different complaints from people about a private investigation agency called Sloan Detective Agency. Cliff Ailey was the Sloan Investigation Agency. Everything that Ailey was involved with that always had a little taint to it. Maybe not illegal, just a little bit maybe unethical or questionable. It was almost like he was a bad character in an HBO late night movie. Where we really got involved with Ailey, beyond being a nuisance, was in the early 2000s. We had a woman come forward and claimed that she was physically assaulted by Ailey. She made a report to the Ambridge Police Department. They asked us to take care of it, and while we're doing that investigation, other cases came to light. But while we're doing that, I get a call from a trooper up in Mercer County. This trooper is named Bill Peterson. He asked if we knew Cliff Ailey and the Sloan Investigative Agency. We did, of course, and we knew about his character. Bill had been able to connect Cliff Ailey with a missing person, which he believed was a homicide of Sandy Baker up in Mercer County. We included the state police in our investigations in 2003, 2004 of Cliff Ailey's activities down here.
Ailey ended up actually serving some prison time for hindering the investigation into Sandy Baker's disappearance. He was the only person out of the case who ever actually did any jail time as a result. About 7 years after Sandy went missing, her children petitioned to have her declared legally dead, which you can do after someone has been missing for a certain number of years. Though police are still working the investigation, William Creagh Jr. actually took his own life in 2011. I learned about what happened with him actually from my mom, and she called. She said there was an article in the paper, her fiance shot himself. And my first reaction was to ask, did he leave a note? And before I could even ask the question, she said, he didn't leave a note. The police are still working to try to come up with what they need to give everybody some answers and finally close the case. Her friends and family were really involved in trying to push the investigation forward, and they wanted to make sure that Sandy was never forgotten. They had vigils for her at the Kids Mill Covered Bridge, her favorite spot where she had planned to get married. They were in constant contact with the media, with the police, trying to keep Sandy out there, and so that people didn't forget about her and forget who she was and that she was missing.